Little pause. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of 2024 here at Talking Times. I'm very excited to start this. Today, we're going to talk about international relations. I'm here with Higor Alves. You're going to love him. We have a lot of interesting topics to talk about, but right after our podcast intro. Hello, Igor. Welcome, man.
Hello, dear. How are you doing?
I'm very happy. Man, I will try to control myself about the conspiracy theories, okay?
Yeah,
So
we're
don't
good.
go anywhere, okay? But before we start, please introduce yourself to our public.
Well, I am Igor. I currently teach English at times.
Yep. This is where we
Uh,
met.
yeah. I'm graduate in international relations. I have a bachelor degree at Unesp, and I'm here to talk about it.
Nice. Well, going back to the English thing, how did you learn English, Igor?
Basically, it was 2008, it was 2009.
Okay.
I was on my daddy's car. We were, I think, in a random way, listening to songs. And then he played on the radio Florence and the Machine.
Oh, it's a good
Dog
band.
Days Are Over. And I got so fascinated because the song was really different.
Dog days
the
are over.
Dog Days Are Over.
Okay, I'm gonna search it later.
I'm not gonna sing. But I'm not gonna sing now. But yeah. Dog Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine. And I got so fascinated by the song. I got so fascinated by the instrumental, with the poetry. And it was complicated to understand. I wanted to understand it. It was not like all the other pop songs that you had a sentence and you kept repeating and repeating and
Yeah.
repeating again. And there was a poetry to it, and I wanted to understand. So, firstly, I started Googling, translating. I got in love with Florence and the Machine, and that's how I started.
Man, it's beautiful because it was because of a form of art, because of music. In a way, it's similar to the way I got really into English. First, I started studying. It was actually an influence from my mom, like, oh, you should learn a language. It's gonna be good for you. I said, okay, let's go. So I think I was 15 years old. I was a teenager, and so I started studying. But then I had this desire when I was a teenager that is very silly. I wanted to be a rock star. So I said,
Oh.
man, I wanna, I see.
I can see that. There's like an assembly to it,
Then
an atmosphere to
yeah,
it.
but I matured a lot because before that I wanted to be a soccer player.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
special.
Then I imagined, well, if I want to be a rock star, I should
Mhm.
learn how to sing in
Yeah.
English to be like more effectively.
Uh-huh.
In your case was Florence in the Machine. With me it was the Iron Maiden. I used to get the covers, you know,
Mhm.
and try to understand. And while I was listening to the songs, I said, man, I used to read feel like I did it before, and I was learning English. I was like,
Yeah.
feel like I did it before, feel like I did it before. Then I
Feel
put
like I
the
did it
song.
before.
I put the song Deja Vu, and Bruce Dixon was like, so what the hell is happening there? And then I start to get like, okay, I really want to learn and understand.
Mhm.
So nice. Music helped. What about times? Was it your first English school that you taught? Because
Oh yeah.
the process of being a student and being a teacher, how was it, man?
Oh yes. Oh, I navigated through many things. Firstly, I entered high school. I thought, okay, I have to study so I can study after. I can pay the for college and decide. I studied in electronics technician.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into international relations, and I worked with many things during my graduation.
You told me
So
before that you are a very curious person, so it makes sense.
yeah, I worked and I studied many different things, and I worked as a waiter, as a salesman. I already sold credit cards in a supermarket during
Oh,
the pandemic.
that's tough, man.
During the yeah, I got hit by a lady. Yeah.
You got hit by a lady.
Yes, because I approached her by the side, and we have to keep the arm long distance.
Okay.
But I approached her and, hey, how are you doing? And we say almost the same thing, always like, oh, hey, how are you doing? I saw that you da, and I started talking, and she looked at me. She didn't say anything. She
Just gave you a
raised
hook.
her arms, and she started, get away, get away, get away! You're gonna make me sick. Get away, get away! Crazy. She went crazy.
And talking about the
Yeah.
using fear as a tool, damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
she got professional, but
Were you dressed normally with the mask
no,
and everything?
yeah, I was with a mask and the
Mhm.
uniform, so it wasn't anything like, oh, I'm
And
here
then
to.
imagine, oh, I work at for PlayStation or Play Center or Hoppy High, and PlayStation is
No.
old, man, the first of the year.
I dare you to sell credit cards in a supermarket during the pandemic.
Man, it is one
Uh-huh.
of the professions that I have the utmost respect is
Uh-huh.
people who work as a bus driver, the supermarket cashier, because you
Oh
deal with a
yeah.
lot of stressed people every day.
And you start to hate specific people.
Okay,
So
let's go there.
people. So okay, people with high positions, or you know, people
Yeah, snob.
that seem fancy,
Yeah,
yeah, snob, or posh
yeah.
people, posh people, people. The argument. Oh, I'm a lawyer. You're gonna see.
You want to see my card? I'm a doctor.
Yeah,
Do you have a
you're gonna see.
doctorate? No, so you're
And
not.
yeah, someone already told me like, okay, use doctor to refer to me, and I guess I was already in college, so I knew like, okay, I'm not gonna call you a doctor if you don't have a doctorate degree.
You want to make them go mad, just like this.
Yeah.
Okay, are you a doctor? Yes. So imagine somebody's having a heart attack. Hey, here's a doctor. Oh my God, I cannot save this life, but I can sue the ass of whoever is responsible. Like,
Oh yeah, no, just ask, do you have a doctorate or are you just a lawyer?
I'm just a lawyers
So,
watching
no,
us.
guys, you
We
have to
love
do
you,
that.
but we're gonna mock you, okay? Because
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's unbearable for me. And then I went to the bar. I went to work in a bar. It was great too. I had more autonomy in terms of dealing with people.
No people
So
punching you or nothing like.
no. I mean the structure of the bar. So you are responsible for what you do there, and you receive your money, and that's it. There's no
Okay.
one watching you now. No, you have to do this process.
No
It's like,
micromanaging.
yes, so go ahead, serve, and then like close the table, and that's it.
Ah, nice.
So,
Yeah, there you go.
but people tend to be a little innovative when they are drunk. The thing is that
I love the euphemism. They're
Yeah.
innovative when they're drunk.
Yeah, there were many strategies that they used to use
To call you.
not only not to call, but not to pay what they should. So
Oh.
to like for example, drink.
Mhm.
Guys, don't use it, please. The waiters know. The waiters know. But the thing is that you would ask for the how I don't know how to say that pure malte, guys.
The barley, the pure barley.
Barley. Oh my God, I never
Yeah.
used this
I
word
think it's
ever.
barley, yeah.
Yeah. So you would get the most expensive beer, and then you would switch the last time you order. So, oh, okay.
You order like some fancy craft beer, and then you say, "Oh no, give me a local beer. Pay us."
Yes.
If you
And
got this
then
reference,
local.
yeah, it's a beer that
Okay.
is very
So-
special.
But the thing is that they order the least expensive, and then they will say, "Oh, my whole night, I drank this one. I was ordering this one. You did take your notes correctly.
Man.
So that was a discussion that happened at least 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 times I suffered this, and the thing is that I had to deal not only with problems, but with this kind of
Man,
situation.
and it's
I
very
had to,
stressful. You are tired, talking to a lot of people. You
yeah,
know that you are not drunk, and you are
uh-huh.
doing your work correctly. And then, like, oh, the problem is you. You didn't take your notes correctly. So get
Yeah,
your
yeah.
drunk ass.
So we have to counter manipulate. We have to counter manipulate.
Call the bouncer, like a
Yeah,
guy the
yeah,
size of
yeah.
a refrigerator. Hey, Tonhão, come here.
But not even that, not even that. There was a couple, I remember it like really clearly. There was a couple, they were on a date. I think they were like boyfriend, girlfriend
Okay.
thing. And then I had like a little sympathy with the woman because she was really educated and etc. And she would talk a little
Should
too,
polite,
while
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
really, really polite, really sweet. And then the guy tried to do that with me. And I just looked at her like, really? I served you so well. Why are you doing this to me? I need to pay my bills. I can't stand this kind of thing. You know, this is. So I started doing the whole theater because
Ah,
I knew it was going to work. It was a strategy. And okay, you want to make a scene? I'm going to make my scene too. Let's see which one is the better. So she just looked at him and said, "Oh no, dear, you're no, no." And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna pay for it." And
he
that's
said.
it. No, he
Ah,
said
okay.
because she looked at him and said, "No, you're not gonna do this."
Man,
So
so you need to have a lot of patience.
yeah,
You
not even patience. You need to be brave. You need to understand the profile of the person, the limits the person is going to go to get what the person wants.
And we are not talking about international relations yet, you see?
Yes, I really love the analytical part of the whole thing. And the most common ones were about paying. So when you have a huge group and people pay, oh, I'm gonna pay your part, but no, no, no,
Ah,
no,
then
no.
it gets messy.
So yes,
Uh,
yes. But the best strategy is to go one by one, paying one by one, and the rest you just say, guys, it's just a little amount. Don't you think you
pitch
should
some
divide
money in,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, don't you think you should divide it and etc. So I think I have done a little few mistakes because the system there guaranteed. You would take notes on the paper, you would put on the system, you would give the paper to the. It's like a balcony there,
Hmm.
and they would administer. They would check on the
Ah,
system and on the
you
paper.
triple check everything.
Yes, they would check everything, and if something was wrong or something like inconcise, they would. Igor, what happened here? What do you think happened here? So I could go and ask the person, oh, did you order this and that? So
Mm.
depending on the person, of course.
Did
But
you have any sort of training about that, or was more an instinct of how to deal with people, this type of
well,
problematic customers?
there is the whole thing of their training there.
Hmm.
But also, I think what helped me was working on at the supermarket because the
Mm.
ecosystem of the supermarket is really complex. Because when we talk about workers, we divide the supermarket in the front, middle, and back.
Hmm.
So you have to deal with this ecosystem because I would bounce in the middle and in the front. I was a cashier and a salesman.
Oh boy.
So I would do the cashier position when there was no people around somewhere.
Hmm.
But the thing is that I had to deal with the relations of the people, my superior and etc. And with the clients, I had to understand how to approach, because I would approach the people in the supermarket. So I think it helped me a lot understanding people and profiling as a general to
Mm-hmm.
deal with the variables that involve people. And I think something that also helped me a little is that I helped raising my little brother. So
Ah,
I
nice.
was really participative, and I really I developed a sense of understanding, because when you participate on education and things like that, you
Mm-hmm.
understand, oh, okay, I need to analyze the situation. It's not about me. So you have this switching in this whole thing. So a lot of things granted me the ability of, okay, I have to read the situation. This is a variable. This is another variable, and I have to deal with those variables. I have to understand the differences between people and what. And it's also a lot of experimentation. So, what is the effect of my action in this situation or in that situation?
Ah, okay, a lot of trying and error as well.
Yes,
Okay.
practice makes perfect.
Man, that's very interesting. And we're gonna dive into because a lot of the characteristics you were mentioning, I imagine in a diplomat as well, because you have to read the person and say this
Mm-hmm.
person is bullshitting me. And
Uh-huh.
it could be something trivial, a trivial matter, or it could be something really heavy, really important, that
Uh-huh.
like a big decision. But before that, I haven't forgotten you guys. Let me take around here at the
Uh-huh.
chat. Hello, hello, everybody. Hi, Isaac. Hi, Andre. Hi, little angel. Hi, Ariane. Hi, Sam. Future cast. Hello. Uh, hello, Arthur. Oh, somebody is asking just for me to see who is here, who is having classes with teacher Isaac now. Oh, welcome, guys. Okay. Hello, Andre. Somebody said that they're having a class while we're having this broadcast. That's nice, guys. If you have questions to Igor, bring them on. Okay.
Yeah, totally welcome.
Yeah. We were talking about zombie apocalypse before the broadcast started. I wonder why, So a lot of interesting things here. Okay. Isaac has a good one here, Igor.
Oh my
Igor,
God, yeah.
what was the most problematic customer you ever had? This is good, and I will add a little
Mm-hmm.
thing in this question. Which one was the toughest? Like being a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
selling the credit cards, like being a waiter, working at the supermarket.
Well, I think the most difficult for me was selling credit cards in a supermarket. It was during the pandemic, and a lot of people who would have the credit card done by me, they didn't need a credit card. So
Mm-hmm.
it was something I didn't believe I should do. It was not something that I was proud of. And at the same time, it was my one of I already worked as a salesman,
Mm-hmm.
but I worked as a salesman in points of sale in
Okay. So
places.
the
So
customer
the
goes to
cost,
you.
yeah.
Ah, it's
But in the
completely different.
supermarket, yeah, but in the supermarket, you have to be inconvenient. You have to convince the people. You have to have like the initiative of
Yeah,
breaking the
one
discomfort.
thing is like you are standing there. We put
Uh-huh.
piercings and we make tattoos. We put piercing
Oh my
and we
God,
make
that was
tattoos.
not what I worked
I
with.
know.
Okay.
But whoever's from Campinas are gonna get this reference.
Oh my God.
And the other thing is like, hey, you, come here, you.
Hmm.
People don't like being approached
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
daily, like doing grocery shopping and type of
Mm-hmm,
stuff.
mm-hmm. And in that sense, also as a cashier,
Mm,
because people that when people go through the cashier, they don't want to be there, they don't want to pay, everything is unpleasant. You
yeah.
have to put the things there, and this whole process can be even a trigger for people that are not emotionally adult.
Yeah, and sometimes it is like
So
there is, for example, a mess up with pricing of something, and it's not your fault. culture, just there.
Yeah, even if it's if it has nothing to you, they feel the right to mistreat you or even
Mm,
ignore your existence.
yeah.
One thing about Brazil is that we have this idea of serving. So the person who is serving, or the person who is under you, or the person who is giving you any kind of service, or selling you anything, the person is we think the person is subject to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't respect, you don't consider this person as even an opportunity to communicate.
Yeah,
So you don't
and it's very
exchange.
rude in a way, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's really
This is
problematic.
a very good advice, by the way, when you are judging the character of someone.
Uh-huh.
You guys, you are on a date. You have more experience than this. You can tell me about seeing how couples behave. You know the person is a douchebag
Mm-hmm.
by the way they treat whoever is interacting them because of this. Like you
Uh-huh.
are in a place, how you treat the cashier, the waiter, like
Mm-hmm.
and is an incredible place to have micro, real human interactions. You go to
Uh-huh.
the supermarket, the same one, you say hi to the person that is there, like, oh, hey, are you having a good
Uh-huh.
day? A lot of boring customers. I'm not one of them, just kidding.
Uh-huh.
That's it. People sometimes light
Yeah.
up.
But you don't even need to make a show or like act like a friend. But even the way you respect the person's
Mm-hmm.
limit, or you communicate, or you look at the person, it defines everything. Because when you work as a cashier, like 8 hours sitting there, just
Doing
beep
the same
beep
thing.
beep 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 beep. The only interaction you have in most of the work day is the person who is passing through you, and it's those kind of operational jobs. They are really, really sometimes even lonely,
Mm-hmm.
and then the person that goes through, as I was telling you before, the lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
they don't even consider, they don't understand this reality, they don't
Mm-hmm.
understand there's a person there. It's not a machine, it's not automatic.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, guys, don't forget, there is always a person serving you, and the person is there to have their dignity. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, sometimes the word gets stuck. But dignity, money, and if it's doing a great job or not, it's your obligation to treat this person with
It's
respect.
the minimum,
So,
right?
yes, as much as you want to have your respect
Yeah.
other people too,
Yeah,
guys.
remember that everybody has a story. Sometimes you're
Mm-hmm.
having a bad day and the other person is having an awful one too. Is the
Mm-hmm.
minimum to be comprehensive in this aspect,
Mm-hmm.
'cause anyways,
This was the the most challenging
no,
thing. Like
I
people
imagine,
treating
man.
you like shit.
And you have just graduated in international relations. How was it? How was the whole experience? You mentioned before how you pick up the course was interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I always wanted to be a scientist to understand things.
Mm-hmm.
I like to understand the complexity of things, the dimensions, the zoom in, the zoom out, and the whole aspect of basically understanding.
Okay.
There is reality and there is an explanation. I want to make the right questions and find the right answers to them. And international relations was one of the options. Firstly, I wanted to become a psychologist to understand people, understand society.
Yeah.
But as I went through searching for the whole thing of okay, what am I gonna do with my life? What am I gonna study for like a higher degree? And the thing is that international relations is really interdisciplinary.
Mm-hmm.
So you study a lot of things: political science, history, social sciences, and in theory, there is a possibility to work with from commerce to public policy. So I really thought it would be an opportunity to give this zoom out that I really
Mm.
admire on
I
reality
liked
to understand the big variables.
how you sum up saying you can be the advisor of the prince.
Yes, the advisor of the
Like you will
prince.
be the Merlin to
Mhm.
whoever king or queen is there.
Yes, my professor Alberio,
Shout out to you, Alberto.
Alberio, he's not here.
Ah,
He
there is
wrote a.
someone here who said Cristiano Magalhães, Manhães, sorry, Cristiano
Oh
Manhães has said,
yeah.
I study with Higor Alves.
Yes. Hey Chris. Hey Chris. Yeah, he's a really good friend.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this characteristic is very interesting because the first intuitive thought that I have, okay, international relations. So you're gonna be like a diplomat, but it's not quite that, right? What's the title that you receive after graduated?
Well, the title is a bachelor degree in
Mm-hmm.
international relations. You can be called like an international relations analyst,
Mm-hmm.
but we call with a little love in the word internationalist.
Okay.
The thing is that international to understand international relations, we have to go to the object.
Okay.
The object of studying international relations is the state, the national state,
Okay.
in the international system.
Mm-hmm.
So coming from that, we have the interdisciplinary aspects to understand these dynamics, understand the state, the behavior of states and other actors in the international system. So it's really, really interdisciplinary. As I told you before, we have geopolitics and like more realistic, the
Mm.
liberal economy, and the whole thing. It comes together to have understanding the international system.
Okay, now a personal question to you.
Oh my God. All right.
With your background in this moment of your life, are you more with like say a Hobbesian view of the thing, like the man is the wolf of the man,
Uh-huh.
or you are more with the Rousseau things, good society corrupt us or something different? My question is,
Uh-huh.
are you optimistic or pessimistic in how things are going nowadays?
Okay, it depends on the proportion
Okay.
of the because when we have fewer people in a place,
Mm-hmm.
we can the people themselves they can process and deal with the relations because the variables that you deal in a small community,
Mm-hmm.
they are as much as the small community they are
Man,
really small variables
this is so
that
true.
there's not much you can make out of it. So okay, if I sustain my relation to this and this people, if I take care of this and that relation, it's okay. But when we go to a broader view of things, and then we have this and this and this community, and we want this and this and this resource, things start getting more complicated.
Yeah.
And I think the general tendency is for me to eliminate the obstacles on view.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's inevitable when you have two, three more groups and they are interested in a specific resource or in a limited territory. There is going to be the idea, okay, I'm gonna eliminate my enemy and get the resource. And the state exists for that, to deal
Put
with
a
the
break
dynamic,
in the.
to preserve. And we make the state. We make the state. So that's the thing. So it's not like, oh, people da da da, state da da da.
No,
So
the state's a
the
group of
state
people
is
too.
people,
Yeah.
is people. The state is people, people is state. So I'm using only the verb to be
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah, it
one
makes
it's
sense.
one thing.
Because sometimes people see in a romanticized view as is like impartial, like a ant, like
Oh,
something
it's
else.
not. Yeah, it's not an
It's
entity.
like a
It's not
group
an
of people. Yeah.
entity. Yeah, yeah. That's the consequence of bureaucracy.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna get into
Man,
that. Yeah.
have you seen
hmm
completely random question, but have you seen a movie called Brazil?
Brazil.
Yeah, the name of the movie is Brazil. I guess it's from the 80s. Let me
Oh, so
research this.
no, I
Yeah,
haven't.
Man, it's like a
Mhm.
critique of bureaucracy. You may
Uh-huh.
enjoy it. It's very interesting. It's very
Uh-huh.
crazy. It's one of the craziest movies that I've ever watched.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Brazil. Why is it called Brazil?
I don't know exactly, but I haven't researched because Brazil.
Maybe they
No,
just
it's so
chose
interesting because
randomly.
there is no bureaucracy in Brazil. It's from 1985, the movie.
1985.
Yeah, and is it has this kind of utopian vibe as well.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that movie. I'm gonna watch too.
Oh, Children of Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. But so
Guys, watch Children of Man.
I'm gonna recommend this one to you. I remember some parts. I need to rewatch it, but it's like something breaks in the
Mm-hmm.
apartment of the protagonist, and it takes like huge amount of hours and professionals to go there and fix. And
Mm-hmm.
because of a bureaucracy mistake, he's mistaken to be a terrorist, something like this.
Uh-huh.
And the whole movie is how he tries. Okay, I'll not give you
To overcome the
spoilers.
situation.
Yeah, something like that. But it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you mentioned, Igor, about these dynamics in small group.
Dynamics,
Yeah, these dynamics
the
between
course.
like
Mm-hmm.
small groups and big groups has social media influenced a lot, and because before, let's say the only way would be to have like a newspaper type of
Mm-hmm.
information being spread. It would take sometimes weeks for something that happened
Mm-hmm.
here reach something somewhere else in another country,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in another city. But now everything is instant. So how has social media impacted it, like the profession?
Well, when we talk about media, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about information.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you brought one aspect that is really important here to understand the new scenario. Before we had the internet, before we had social media, we had the same dynamics. The
Okay.
same dynamics. What changes is the quantity, the amount of information, and the speed of information.
Mm.
So the quality of this information can be more varied. You have more access to more information in a speed that it's difficult. It's almost impossible, depending on the platform, to fight fake news, for
Yeah,
example.
that I
So
was
how
going
are you
there.
going to fight fake news? What is the strategy of fake news? Quantity and speed. That's the thing. The amount of information and how fast this information passes through any channel.
And I was thinking first before the macro, but in a micro scenario, it's very easy to destroy the reputation of someone nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to elaborate and create something with a lot of editing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can spread a rumor and that's it. People start
Um,
sharing. But thinking about the global scenario, we were talking before about mass
mm-hmm.
manipulation, psychology of group. I mentioned the psyops, the psychological
Uh-huh.
operations. Um, how can the professionals nowadays, like imagine you have a country there and you have the whole
Mm-hmm.
economical system that is like
Mm-hmm.
connected to, right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if this happens nowadays, but I can spread rumors, about a country, about a
Uh-huh.
company to influence
Mm-hmm.
how other people will deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that is a real concern for the professionals, like to investigate and to say, like, oh, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, this is fake news. Don't nuke the country, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there is a difference between the actors, the actors that we see in the system. So you
Mm-hmm.
have a state, you have the whole system, community. We have the ordinary people, we have the company and the state. The companies, the big companies and the states, they know how to deal and filter information.
Mm-hmm.
They understand what is a strategy, what is not a strategy. They deal with that. That's their routine. It's part of their institution.
Mm-hmm.
So the person, the individual who works in an operational position that doesn't deal with information, it doesn't have the person doesn't have much qualifications and etc. Okay, the information comes and goes and everything is a mist. The person doesn't know how to filter.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that when you can manipulate groups of people, when you can manipulate masses of people. So
Exactly.
in a democracy, you manipulate in elections. And when it's not a democracy, you can manipulate for acts, you can manipulate for protests, for
Mm-hmm.
example. Like it happened in Iran, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was I forgot her name about the hijab.
Oh, I don't remember
I
true, but
forgot her name. But the protests and etc. But they suppressed the protests, of course.
mm-hmm.
But you can spread information and you can create connection with the mass of people. So that's how, okay, I have a strategy. I want to collaborate to my, so the media is never the main. It's
Okay.
never
It's
the
just a
main
tool.
way, but it's a tool for you to get
Mm.
a mass and to gain legitimacy, for example, or to convince people to storm the Capitol, like it happened in the USA or in Brazil.
Yeah, this is very, very crazy, man. Um, and the question that remains for like normal people is who the hell I can trust? You know, not even my shadow, maybe.
Oh, I wouldn't trust my shadow.
Yeah, because that's the professional thing, guys. You see, because everything seems to be
Mhm.
polarized in a way, like it's
Mhm.
not impartial anymore. It can be a new movie that is being released, something that should be for fun,
Mhm.
or imagine, oh, this person is visiting this country.
Mhm.
What's up with that?
Oh, okay. Well, in a basis of analysis, if you want to understand, to recognize, or to deal with a situation, you have to see, okay, which variable should I look? So when we talk about people and things that happen, like, oh my God, should I consider this person or the state or this strategy, this media as a threat? For ordinary people, this filter goes through emotion,
Yeah,
goes through affection, goes through identity. For big companies and states, it goes for strategy and purpose.
it's a
But
more pragmatic
yeah,
approach.
pragmatical approach. But for an ordinary people, oh, I identify with you. This is a safe place. I want to keep the relation with this or that person. And there is a whole. If you enter this chain of affection, this chain of connection, and you know how it works, that's it. That's it. So you can diagnose and understand, okay, why are people gathered here? Why am I here? Why is the person telling me that? So does the person really care about me or or is the person only emotional about this and that subject?
Mhm.
So do I share the same purpose as the person? So you start to think about yourself as an agent instead of oh, I'm just a person. No, you're not a person. You are an actor, an agent in an international system, 8 billion people. You are one of them.
Mhm.
Understand?
Yeah, yeah.
So you have a goal, you have an interest, and it's all about the ethics in the end. So is this information going to promote who? What am I going to do with it? Is it a tool? Am I being a tool? So ask
Um,
yourself, are you being a tool? That's it.
that's a very good a good sentence for a cut. Are you being a tool? Who is using you?
Oh
Man.
yeah, yeah. We are being
Uh,
used. I'm being used. You are
I
being
know.
used.
After I started to study the mass manipulation techniques and all of that, the Edward
Mm.
Bernays thing. Every time I see a new ad or when it's political propaganda, sometimes a new thing, I say, "Oh, what's up with that?" And then, "Oh, this is the product, or this is the service, or this is the
Mhm.
reason." It's crazy. It's like a one-way road. Uh, but okay, in another way, eventually
Mhm.
you get in peace with that.
Uh-huh.
Igor, one thing that I was thinking, what is the main aspect, the main difference of being the internationalist and a diplomat? Because
Oh,
the two
okay.
things go along, or how does it work?
All right. An internationalist or a person that works with international relations or
Hmm.
studies. Well, international relations is a field of study.
Okay.
So you can have the academic career to work in universities, teaching or doing research. You can go to the private market, like
Okay.
strategies. You can deal with technical parts in embassies or the consular working too.
Mm-hmm.
There are some technical parts or some other parts that you can contribute. In companies, it's really varied. In Brazil, it's not that diffused. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that we can work with strategy, we can work with institutional relations too. We can work with specific places like, oh, there is an agency that helps migrants. I can work with that too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically it for an internationalist. Now the diplomatic career is a is a career. You work for the foreign policy ministry, and basically you have to pass a contest. It's really 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 hard. I think
Mm-hmm.
the vacancies for the last one were around like 20, 30 people.
That was a
So
very select group then. And
yeah,
you probably have thousands of people competing
oh,
for that.
more than about 10,000, something like that.
Damn.
So I think it's really complicated to get in. But at the same time, when you get in, you have a really, really crazy life working, studying a lot, studying a
Mm.
lot. It's just like a graduate degree. You have to
Okay.
study a lot. There are three positions you enter earning. The last time I saw it was 19,000 reais with all the
Mm.
benefits too, right?
That's on one of the perks.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then you end the three positions, right? The third secretary, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. It's the roof. I forgot the roof. How can I say?
The
How can I call
the
that?
tip of the pyramid.
Yeah, the tip of the pyramid.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
And are there some negative aspects? Like you need to study all the. I don't see as
Mm-hmm.
being negative, but you have to study a lot about a lot of different things.
You need to have a degree. You
Okay.
need to have a higher degree to try. When you enter, you still study.
Okay.
So you still study. You're gonna study a lot of languages, a lot of things that I study already in international relations. For
Okay.
example, it's a benefit to study international relations. Most people go to international relations or law
Okay.
before applying to the diplomatic career. And well, you can travel. This can be an advantage or a disadvantage depending on your profile.
Mm-hmm.
If you're more like a family guy who wants to build a home and live in a specific city, I think it can be something that would limitate those plans
Yeah. You are not
because
here, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you have to do the work a diplomat does. You have to visit or to spend the time here or
Mm.
time there.
Sometimes I don't know if it's a
Hmm.
thing, but you could go to dangerous places too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can go to dangerous places too, and it depends a lot because the whole thing is really complex in
Yeah.
from the
But
inside.
people were mentioning that sounds fancy. I'm an internationalist. I'm a diplomat. It sounds fancy, you know.
It is guys. It
Yeah.
is fancy.
You
It
know.
is. It is. It is. But everything has its ups and downs. But I don't see any down. No, no.
That's
I don't
nice.
see it's any negative for me.
That's a question here. Marcel asked, what would you say is the best reason to major in international relations? Like the best reason
The
to
best
yeah.
reason, if you want to. And what do I mean if you want to? Do you like to study
Okay.
the zoom out aspect of things? Do you like to analyze systems? Do you like to have perspective on things? Do you search for explanation of major events and major things? Do you want to study the state and the national state like Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
etc., and the international system? Do you want to focus on that? If you want to, you can get in
Okay.
because you have the traditional fields, and we
Mm-hmm.
have geopolitics and etc., security. But you also have public policies. You can go to diplomacy
Mm-hmm.
if you study a lot,
Yeah.
a lot. But also you can research into the new areas like
Mm-hmm.
feminism, LGBTQ plus. You can research on a lot of psychology in international relations, like when we talk about mass manipulation, for
Mm-hmm.
example, when we talk the dynamics of elections in the USA, in Brazil, the strategies and the whole kind of thing. This is
Yeah.
psychology in international
Yeah,
relations.
completely.
We can have this perspective. So if you like the zoom out, get into it, and then go to the research area that I think you're gonna like
Yeah,
it.
you're gonna we were chatting before and something very interesting. Somebody already asked it here if China is the new US. But that thing that you mentioned about how the way the politics happen in the country in terms of how much time the governor is in power. Like if it's a
Mm-hmm.
4-year democracy that you don't have a guarantee that you're gonna be reelected, you have
Mm-hmm.
this immediate pressure to do stuff.
Uh-huh.
And if you have, like you mentioned in China, that you can stay for many and many years in power, so you will go more in a long-term strategy. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use this to link to the question here. If
Uh-huh.
how do you see China in the international scenario? Is it anything like a new US, or what do you see as the future? What's gonna happen?
Well, the US is the US, but China goes in a more, how can I say, it's not as aggressive as Russia,
Mm-hmm.
but it is still has its own interests.
Okay.
And when we talk about the strategy in long term and short term, in democracies we change the presidents from 4 to 4 years. We have elections like Bolsonaro and Lula.
Mm-hmm.
So the foreign policy and the whole strategies of the whole thing, they change. They change. The
Mm-hmm.
politics they change. The decisions they change. So we have the state and the government policies. The state policy is forgotten. There's no state policy. Only the govern. Okay, Bolsonaro's foreign policy, Lula's foreign policy. We divide it like this. But when we look at China, we have a state policy. We have a permanent, like, the amount of time and the continuity of it allows it for a more predictable space to generate a basis for
I
strategy.
imagine they have
So
a stronger sense of unity too. It's not as divided as
yeah, but it's
here.
more predictable, and the system is ready for you to apply any strategies you want to. So it's easier for them to apply a broad strategies. So
Interesting.
that's it.
Okay, so I will put my foil hat for a minute, okay? Is I imagine I
Oh
have
my
a foil
God.
hat here.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of stuff going on. There was this movie that Barack Obama was involved, so they say, and it's about a collapse in the world. Then I saw news. Maybe it's fake news, maybe,
Oh
okay?
my gosh.
I said that I will put my imaginary tinfoil hat. The Zuckerberg was making a bunker, okay? Like he has never done it.
Oh
Now he
my God.
has made a bunker. So something.
Uh,
My
mm.
question, very simple question, okay? Uh, do you see any big event happening in terms of conflict and war, apart of the ones that are already going on, like Ukraine and Russia and the one in Palestine? Do you see others happening, Igor,
Well,
in the next years, maybe 4 years from now, or I don't know?
hmm Well, it's really hard to predict, but if we look at the tensions, we can look at Taiwan.
Okay.
Taiwan. So we have elections in Taiwan too. It's between two parties. So one that is more sympathetic to China and
Mm.
one that is more resilient to the influence of China. And in a long term, theoretically, Taiwan should by the perspective of China, of
Hmm.
course, should be incorporated to China because
Okay.
it's a part of China and etc. 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 So that's what the party China wants to do. So we have to watch the election. We have to understand how is it gonna go, and how the whole dynamics on guaranteeing autonomy on China is going to succeed. So if we have this party or that other party, China is going to be more aggressive or less aggressive towards it.
Mm.
And then we have also in the same area in the East Asia, we have North and South Korea.
Oh,
North
those are
Korea,
very interesting too.
yes, North Korea bombed an island that was inhabited by people. So
How long ago
South
was
Korea,
it?
oh, those days ago, I think
Oh,
one
it's very,
week.
very recent.
Yeah, 1, 2 weeks. So
Damn,
they bombed an island, and
there were people there.
there were people there. The South Korea had to evacuate the island.
Yeah, so if this is not an act of war, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna bomb.
Oh, but they theoretically they are still at war. The war
Okay.
never ended.
They just are taking a breath. It's like in
But
box. Okay, just
yeah, but it's not like declaring war. No, they have always been in war.
it's
The
true.
war
Yes.
never ended.
And so you mentioned North Korea, man. This for me is one of the most fascinating countries that exist today. Why? Because we never know exactly what's going on there. I don't know if it's like an episode of South Park, that is like
Hmm.
nothing there is real. The things we get here is like fictional, because we don't have accurate information, or
Hmm.
I don't know, because I'll give you a silly example. When we were having the World Cup, I remember the news here, because this one it seems to me that maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me like they wanna ridicule a little the country and make it look like a character, like in a funny way.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, on TV in North Korea, it was shown that they won the World Cup.
Uh-huh.
And then it showed like takes. I don't know if you guys have seen something like that.
Hmm.
So, well, what can we know for sure about that place?
Well, we have a lot of media, so
Exactly.
it's a little problematic to see because in terms of propaganda, we don't know what comes to us in an ordinary way.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a lot of journalists that do that kind of work. Of course, it's not like the hell, but it is, autocracy. It is a dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the question is that what about if I want to change the reality? What about the people that live there? So
Exactly.
how can I work in favor of the people that live there? Because if we just, okay, I'm gonna assume a side of the war, and I'm gonna combat like USA does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fight for this side, and I'm gonna destroy the whole structure of this society, and then you have um, Iraq, for
Mm-hmm.
example, the chaos and terrorists and etc. 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 So a better way. Okay, I want to help the people in this dictatorship. How do I do that? That's the thing. So it's really interesting to think that if I just invade the place, am I going to help the people? What is going to be the structure of power
Mm-hmm.
here? What is the dynamic of affection of the people here? Because in Hunger Games, have you ever watched Hunger
Yeah,
Games?
I haven't the last one, but the
Oh, the last
the
one is
classic
really.
ones I
I was
have.
about to talk about
Okay.
the last one, but there is a moment they invade the capital, and the people from the capital, of course, they are sympathetic to the capital and to the dictator
Mm-hmm.
Snow, the president Snow. And there is a dynamic. Okay, are these people my enemies? How am I gonna do with these people?
Okay.
And the whole because war, is it against the institution or the people?
I'm very skeptic about this, man. Every time I
So
see, I always think, okay,
when you think about,
this guy
mhm,
wants to get resources from that place. I only
uh-huh,
see that, maybe
yeah.
maybe I lost faith in humanity, you know.
Uh,
But it's normally the
but
excuse.
yeah, when
Yeah,
you think about dictatorship, try to think about how complex it is, even for the people that live there, and how you can support. And
yeah.
for example, does it favor people that we are spreading fake news?
Hmm.
So how can we help improving the quality of life of the people that are there, and a lot of other things. So I'm really against dictatorships, to be
Hmm.
clear. But what about the people that live there?
It's very
How can we
delicate
help
too,
them?
right? And you
Mm-hmm.
also have the religious and cultural aspect there. Even if it's not that, oh, they have like a Stockholm syndrome, they don't want the dictator to be,
Mm-hmm.
removed. But okay, you remove the dictator, you cannot have a vacuum of power. You will have to do something there,
Oh,
you know.
vacuum of power never
Yeah,
exists.
somebody's
It
gonna
doesn't
take the
exist.
place.
Structure is always a structure.
Yeah.
It's not about the guy who's there. It's about the structure. So I think uh, I don't know what I what I actually would do in that case, and I don't think we should. I think we should support, like, okay, South Korea is capitalistic and is extremely supported by the USA. Sometimes they don't have the best policies and etc. But they at least try to be democratic. Understand?
Yeah, and
So.
if you use this filter, which population has a better quality of life or is being
Uh-huh.
treated with dignity is a good filter,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
But I don't know about that country, man. For me, is really a big question mark because whenever I see
Uh-huh.
something, it's like those military displays and parades, like,
Uh-huh.
look how badass we are, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
missiles and tanks
Uh-huh.
and I don't know, if you look on the internet, I wouldn't trust like, oh, there is
Uh-huh.
this footage from inside North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know if it's real or not?
Oh.
But do you think it's possible that that area like is already foaming, but like you said, the war has never stopped, but will they kind of go to arms again in some conflict?
Oh, I think it's everything is possible. So I should have to study more
Ah, okay.
to give an opinion specifically about Korea, but everything is possible. But
Mhm.
I don't see any plain war like it's happening with Ukraine or Israel and Palestine.
The impression that I have is that the stakes are high now. For example,
Uh-huh.
in the past, before the nukes, let's say, the war was highly costly. Yes, it was, but people would gather and they will have this place for conflict. Now it's like pressing buttons. You have this type of satellites. And missiles and war technology that you press here, you select the place, and then a bomb drops
Uh-huh.
there. You
Hmm.
don't have this human to human directly contact.
Oh, but it depends. It depends because when we talk, for example, about Palestine and
Mm-hmm.
Israel, just to give a clear example,
Mm-hmm.
Palestine, 10 kilometers by 40 kilometers, 2 million people. So are you going to say they have a specific and technology to bomb a specific one
Ah, no,
person,
and they do
and
something like this, and a
and
lot of innocents are hit. Yeah,
it's expensive and they
yeah,
don't dedicate to it
yeah.
and there's a whole a whole decision. Okay, we need this place. The strategy is to wreck everything to the ground and then we're gonna finish with Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So they bombed everything, they destroyed everything, the infrastructure, and now they are hunting Hamas. But I think as a social movement, it never actually ends.
Yeah, it's a symbol too in a way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
With symbols, you talk, you don't fight.
Mm. You
With
see, that's the internationalist and the diplomat in you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you communicate, you change the symbol, you bring it to an institution for you to have rules of how to deal with the problems because the people there, they are real. They have real problems. So is the person in Hamas because the person saw the consequence of, okay, I don't have my land anymore, I don't have food, I don't have anything, but I have a gun here and I have an
And I
enemy.
have a group that will protect me, something like that, or
Yeah,
at least give
see.
me the feeling that I'm part of something.
Uh-huh. So
Yeah.
it's not about the war. War was never the answer. It's about a structure and quality of life.
Mm. Do you think this is like a way to make a we have a lot of stupid people in power. We have
Mm-hmm.
been like from stupid kings to stupid presidents.
Mm-hmm.
But what would be a way, Igor, you see, to have a more harmonic and pacific world? Or that would never happen. It's like a fairy
Oh,
tale land.
yeah, it's totally utopia. It's
We're gonna finish here like a crush the brains of what? Okay, the world's going to hell, the conflict's gonna happen. Create a bunker, stock some
uh,
food. I'm sorry, man. Go
but the
on.
issue is that we are violent. We are animals. Animals are violent,
Yeah,
and that's
definitely.
it. If I can eliminate my enemy, I'm gonna go there and eliminate my enemy if I don't have an institution to take care of the issue. What is the Congress? The Congress is for people to agree. Okay, I'm not gonna hit you, but we're gonna talk. That's it. That's the state. There, that is the function. So why did the aristocratics in ancient Greek? Why did they talk to each other? So they wouldn't kill each other.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
the reason we have a
that's
frontal
the
cortex in
reason. Yeah,
language.
that's the protocol. The
Yeah.
protocol is to avoid violence. The protocol is to preserve, because nobody wins on depending on the.
Yeah, but
But
whoever's pulling the strings,
in
right?
general, yeah, in general, I think more dialogue, strong institutions for anything since like democracy, elections,
Mm-hmm.
to even to secure for when we talk about political economy, to preserve jobs in Brazil, for example, to
Mm-hmm.
preserve and maintain and promote jobs and a healthy ambience for people to have quality of life.
No, that's a good take, man. Final message to our viewers before I wrap this up. Yeah, it was,
Oh.
man. First, before you say
Mhm.
anything, it was a pleasure talking to you. Okay, I
Mhm.
feel that we could talk for hours, man. That there are
Oh,
some very
okay.
interesting questions here. One that I wanted to chat, but it's gonna be for another episode. How AI can influence these, like deep fake videos. Like
Oh.
we were talking a little about psyops. Imagine I can make some deep fake of some governor doing something.
Uh-huh.
But
Mhm.
okay, so if you want Igor back, send a comment. Please, I want Igor back.
Oh, I would be happy to be back. There's a lot of things for us to discuss, and I'm really thankful for you guys to give this opportunity, right, to talk about international relations and the whole thing that I really love. I really enjoy talking about it, and that's it. That's it. Thank you so much. I'm gonna send hugs to to Chris that said hi in a chat. He's a good friend from college. My family maybe is watching. I don't know. My brother Alain. Hello, mother, father, parents. Hello. But that's it. That's it. I was really happy
Me too,
to
man.
be.
Thank you so much. And guys, share the video, like it. Don't forget, we are back, so we will be posting weekly. If you have suggestions of topics you would like to see in these discussions, comment, oh, have an episode about this or that. Thank you so much for being here with us, and hope to see you on our next episode of Talking Times. Bye bye.